What if the ultimate super prison wasn't just a building, but an entire city district? And what if, within its walls, Batman faced not only his deadliest foes, but also the shattering revelation that someone knew his deepest secret, turning his mission into a brutal, intensely personal fight for survival and the soul of Gotham?
It's a premise that sounds almost too grand, right? Too complex maybe for any medium, let alone a video game.
Yeah.
But they really, really pull it off.
Absolutely. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the critically acclaimed 2011 action-adventure masterpiece, Batman Arkham City. This game wasn't just a sequel. It was like a pivotal moment in the Batman mythos, a benchmark for superhero games that totally redefined what was possible, and just a masterclass in narrative and gameplay design. Our mission today is to extract the most important insights from its extensive history. We're looking at its ambitious concept, the groundbreaking mechanics, its really dark, twisting plot, and its staggering cultural impact. And all this is drawn directly from the comprehensive information we've gathered.
Yeah, we'll be drawing from a thorough overview of Batman Arkham City, allowing us to truly unpack its layers and understand what propelled it to such enduring success and made it, such a beloved experience for millions of players around the world. So let's dig in.
Let's do it. Let's begin by setting the stage for this ambitious project, exploring the bold vision that transformed a single asylum into an entire city.
It's actually quite remarkable how early Rocksteady Studios began planning for Arkham City. The idea for a follow-up to Batman. Arkham Asylum wasn't conceived as like a simple afterthought.
Right.
They had actually started shaping the narrative and core concepts for the sequel before the first game even finished development.
Wow.
Yeah, this really highlights a clear, cohesive, long-term vision right from the start, which is, kind of a rare feat in the fast-paced world of game development.
That's incredible foresight. So it wasn't just about rushing out another game, but really about extending a story that was already taking root. And the signs of this plan were subtly woven into the first game itself, weren't they? I remember hearing about some kind of secret room.
Indeed. Yeah, there was a secret room deliberately hidden in the warden's office within Arkham Asylum. And inside, players could discover blueprints for the Arkham City prison.
No way.
Yeah. And what's particularly striking is how remarkably similar those early designs were to the final layout we actually see in Arkham City. It just speaks volumes about the clarity and consistency of their vision from day one.
So the ambition was truly monumental then.
Right.
Take Batman out of the gothic, contained environment of the asylum and onto the sprawling, chaotic streets of Gotham City. But how do they tackle that immense challenge of maintaining the incredible level of detail and that oppressive atmosphere that defined Arkham Asylum across an entire city? That's a massive leap in scale.
Well, the breakthrough really came with mastering Batman's traversal. Rocksteady had already programmed Batman to dive and glide pretty seamlessly within the asylum's confines. Once they saw how fluid and intuitive that movement felt, adapting it to a city environment where you're soaring between skyscrapers and diving into alleyways, it just felt entirely natural. This freedom of movement would become like a cornerstone of the Arkham City experience. It allowed them to expand the world without losing that crucial feeling of being Batman.
Which brings up a common question among fans. Why no Batmobile in an open-world Gotham? I mean, for many, the Batmobile is Batman in the city, right? Yet, Rocksteady made a very deliberate choice against including it. What was their rationale there?
Their reasoning was quite practical, actually, and really focused on the player experience. They concluded that Arkham City's broken terrain, its dense, chaotic, often vertical urban landscape, it just wouldn't accommodate the Batmobile effectively.
Okay, that makes sense.
And maybe more critically, the director, Sefton Hill, felt that putting Batman in any vehicle would fundamentally change the game's core identity. It would make it something entirely different from the intimate hand-to-hand, rooftop-to-street experience they envisioned. Batman's gliding, for them, was not only sufficient, but actually essential to capturing that desired feeling of being the Dark Knight.
So the overarching goal was to deliver the quintessential Batman in Gotham feeling, not just being Batman, but embodying him in his city, actively patrolling and engaging with its pervasive darkness. It's about that direct physical presence.
Exactly. And to achieve that, the tone was intentionally ratcheted up. Kevin Conroy, the definitive voice of Batman, he described the sequel as really, really dark. He even drew parallels to the grim animated movie Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker.
Oh yeah, that one's dark.
Right. He emphasized its involvement of many villains and a deep descent into profoundly darker thematic spaces, truly testing Batman in ways the first game just hadn't.
Okay, now let's explore the new super prison itself, Arkham City, which becomes this city teetering on the brink. The events unfold 18 months after the chaos of Arkham Asylum. And this time jump isn't just a plot device, is it? It allows for significant societal and political shifts within Gotham that really set the stage for this grand, terrifying experiment.
Precisely. You see Quincy Sharp, the former director of Arkham Asylum, capitalizing on public perception. He takes undue credit for stopping the Joker's siege. It's manufactured heroism, basically, which propels him into the mayor's office of Gotham City. His political rise is literally built on a lie.
And his first major act as mayor is pretty drastic. He declares both Arkham Asylum and Blackgate Penitentiary unfit for the city's growing inmate population. His audacious solution: he buys up Gotham's most notorious urban slums and transforms them into this immense, sprawling prison enclosure christened Arkham City. So it's not just a new facility, it's a sealed-off section of Gotham itself, a city within a city designed to contain Gotham's worst.
And it's who he puts in charge that truly makes the whole concept chilling. The facility is placed under the care of the mysterious and manipulative psychiatrist, Hugo Strange. Now, unknown to the public, Strange is secretly pulling Sharp's strings, basically using the mayor as his puppet.
Wow.
And the prison is further monitored by a rogue private military firm, Tiger Security, ensuring absolute control and, crucially, that no one gets in or out without their knowledge.
And within Arkham City, Strange implements this truly twisted policy. He basically permits the inmates to do whatever they please, engage in their own turf wars, establish their own territories, as long as they don't try to escape.
Right.
So this creates an environment of controlled chaos, like a powder keg just waiting to explode. It seems almost designed for maximum psychological torment and social Darwinism.
And of course, a wary Batman, ever watchful over his city, maintains his own vigil over this new, dangerous project. His fear is palpable, that this chaotic situation, just simmering beneath the surface, will inevitably boil over and threaten all of Gotham. Which raises the question, how long can such a volatile experiment truly be contained, and what happens when it inevitably fails?
It's an impossible situation for a hero whose whole thing is bringing order to chaos. And adding to this already volatile mix, the Joker is slowly succumbing to a fatal disease. This is a direct consequence of his previous overdose of the Titan formula. Remember that unstable steroid mutagen from the first game?
Oh yeah, the stuff that turned guys into monsters.
Exactly. So this personal crisis for Batman's archenemy adds another layer of urgency and desperation to everything. The whole city essentially becomes a ticking clock for Batman.
Yeah, it really ups the stakes immediately.
So with this chaotic super prison now established, let's unpack the gameplay, because Arkham City is so much more than just its combat. It truly excels in enhanced mobility and detective prowess.
At its core, Arkham City is an open-world action-adventure game that seamlessly weaves in tactics from stealth games. You play from a third-person perspective, and you can freely rotate the camera around Batman, giving you full control of his surroundings.
And the immediate freedom it grants you is remarkable. The entire Arkham City prison is open pretty much from the moment the game begins, empowering you to travel freely anywhere within its formidable boundaries. That's a huge change from Arkham Asylum, which was, much more linear in structure.
And true to Batman's nature, silent movement is key. You can use a combination of his gadgets and stealth moves to sneak up on enemies and incapacitate them. This core stealth loop is absolutely crucial for navigating the city's hostile zones, especially when you're outnumbered by armed thugs. You really have to pick your moments.
And Batman's cape becomes an even more vital tool for movement, doesn't it? You can glide across the city, diving downwards to build momentum, swooping upwards to extend your flight. The grapnel gun, too, sees improvements. It can now attach to out-of-reach ledges and, crucially, you can use it while gliding to keep moving and maintain momentum. The line launcher can even be deployed as a tightrope or let you change direction mid-flight. It truly makes you feel like the Dark Knight soaring through his city, this powerful predator from above.
What's particularly clever here, I think, is the redesigned detective vision. In the first game, it was maybe too useful.
Yeah, you kind of just left it on all the time.
Exactly. And it kind of obscured the game's beautiful environmental design. So Rocksteady refined it to be more of an augmented reality mode. While it still highlights interesting stuff like character status, collectibles, clues, forensic activities like tracking sniper rounds, it's designed to be more challenging to use in specific situations.
How so?
Well, for example, it can obscure navigational information sometimes. And in combat, enemy strikes will actually blur the screen, if you have it on, actively discouraging overuse. It forces you to balance its utility with actually looking at the stunning world around you.
That's a really thoughtful way to encourage players to engage with the environment without just removing a core Batman ability. And beyond visual modes, you also have access to an in-game criminal database, right? With forensic puzzles that require keen observation. Plus, there's a network for hacking communication frequencies, letting you eavesdrop and gain crucial intel. It genuinely makes you feel like the world's greatest detective, piecing together clues.
Absolutely. It integrates the detective work seamlessly into the gameplay loop.
Okay, moving on to the combat. Arkham City truly takes the Freeflow system from the first game and elevates it into this brutal, rhythmic ballet.
It's a masterclass in refining a successful mechanic, really.
Yeah.
The Freeflow combat system from Arkham Asylum got significant improvements. You can now counter multiple blows simultaneously, you can catch hurled projectiles, perform aerial attacks, and administer this succession of consecutive strikes. It creates a much more dynamic and engaging combat rhythm, making each encounter feel like a fluid, brutal dance.
And what truly opens up new strategic possibilities is the integration of gadgets directly into combat. Many of Batman's gadgets can now be used mid-fight. Like you mentioned, explosive gel can be detonated to knock down enemies. That adds entirely new layers of tactical depth and makes every combat encounter feel like a puzzle you have to solve on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. And the enemies themselves are also much more diverse. They're armed with varying levels of armor and weapons. Basic stuff like baseball bats and lead pipes, they inflict minor damage and can be countered easily enough. But guns, as you'd expect, pose a significant threat.
Right.
And certain enemy types demand specific strategies. Guys with stun batons. You can only attack them from behind. Shielded enemies require aerial attacks to disarm them. And opponents in heavy body armor must be stunned with rapid, successive strikes before they can actually be harmed. This forces you to constantly adapt your approach to every group you face.
So it's not just about quick reflexes. It requires genuine strategic thinking on the fly. And tackling those larger foes, the big brutes, demands even more sophisticated approaches, typically requiring stuns and combo attacks. What's particularly satisfying is that you can even manipulate these larger guys to inadvertently take out their own allies, right? Turning their brute strength against them.
Yeah, that's always fun. And to further complicate things, disputes between gangs loyal to rival villains like Joker's guys fighting Penguin's guys, they frequently erupt into full-blown turf wars. These unpredictable conflicts just organically complicate your ability to move around Arkham City. It adds this layer of danger and opportunity to the open world. You're always on your toes, never quite sure what chaos you'll stumble into next.
And all this action is rewarding. Combat, solving riddles, completing side missions, it all rewards you with experience points. These points let you periodically level up Batman and purchase a wide array of upgrades for his batsuit, his gadgets, his combat, and stealth skills. Each category has, like 15 different upgrades? It ensures a constant sense of progression and customization that really deepens your mastery over time.
Definitely. You feel Batman getting stronger and more capable as you play.
Now let's talk about Batman's utility belt, because it is packed in Arkham City. We're talking about an arsenal of gadgets, both returning favorites and crucial new tools for justice.
A really thoughtful design choice, I think, was having Batman start the game with access to all the gadgets he unlocked in Arkham Asylum. Unlike a lot of games where you start from scratch in a sequel, this immediate access to a seasoned arsenal conveys the impression that Batman is fully prepared for the inevitable chaos and challenges within Arkham City.
Yeah, it reinforces that idea that this is a direct continuation, and Batman isn't some rookie stumbling into a new threat. He's ready.
Exactly. He's the Dark Knight, always prepared. And many of those returning gadgets boast improved or entirely new capabilities. For instance, the cryptographic sequencer, used for hacking security consoles, it can now also monitor shortwave radio channels, expanding its utility beyond just simple hacking.
Ooh, cool.
The line launcher, beyond its basic function, can now be deployed as a tightrope for traversal, or even allow Batman to alter direction during flight. Other familiar tools like the remote-controlled Batarang, the explosive gel, the grapnel gun, they all see enhancements. They didn't just bring them back. They iterated and made them feel indispensable.
And Batman's utility belt expands with several crucial new items, too. You get smoke bombs, which disorient opponents, making them invaluable for stealth tactics and quick escapes. There's the remote electric charge gun, the REC gun, a versatile tool that can stun enemies and temporarily power motors, adding a layer of environmental interaction and combat control. And then you have the freeze blast grenades.
Yes, those are great.
These innovative grenades can encase targets in ice, And, critically, you can throw them into water to create makeshift platforms. That opens up totally new traversal and combat opportunities.
Freeze blast grenades for makeshift platforms. That's truly ingenious, isn't it? It's exactly the kind of lateral thinking Batman would employ.
Totally. And don't forget the Disruptor, a powerful stealth gadget that can remotely disable enemy guns and explosive mines. It allows for strategic neutralization of threats from a distance. It's a real game changer for those stealth encounters, letting you truly think like Batman.
The game really puts a strong emphasis on the skillful use of this diverse gadgetry, especially when you're facing heavily armed enemies. It transforms encounters from just pure brawls into these intricate puzzles that you have to solve with ingenuity and quick thinking. It truly embodies Batman's reliance on his intellect and technology, not just brute force.
Okay, beyond the main story, Arkham City is absolutely massive, especially when you consider the intricate side missions and the Riddler's sprawling labyrinth of challenges.
Indeed, this deep dive is substantial, and so is the game's content. Batman. Arkham City offers roughly 40 hours of gameplay, they estimate. The main campaign clocks in at around 25 hours, leaving a solid 15 hours dedicated purely to side missions. That's a significant chunk of optional content, ensuring players have plenty to do beyond just the primary narrative.
And these side missions aren't just padding, are they? They're designed to be attempted at any time, which adds flexibility to your playthrough. What's more, they feature prominent and often surprising characters from the extensive Batman universe, giving them a chance to shine beyond the main plot. It's like this reunion of Gotham's strangest and most dangerous citizens, each with their own compelling little mini-story.
And a significant portion of that optional content revolves around the Riddler's obsession. He provides a staggering 440 optional Riddler challenges for you to solve.
440? Wow, that's a lot of riddles.
It's an insane level of commitment from the Riddler. Most of these challenges involve collecting trophies hidden throughout the city, often requiring ingenious use of gadgets to disable traps and barriers. And a thoughtful touch. You can even mark Riddler trophies on your in-game map once you find them, allowing you to return later when you've acquired the necessary equipment. It acknowledges that you might not have everything you need on your first pass, encouraging exploration.
So how do you even begin to find 440 trophies in such a big city?
Well, to make finding them less daunting, you can use detective vision to identify the Riddler's specific henchmen during combat. They glow green. If you save these specific henchmen for last during a fight, you can then interrogate them, and they'll reveal the locations of Riddler trophies on your map.
Ah, that's clever. It creates this unique meta gameplay loop that rewards strategic combat and adds a compelling layer to the detective work.
It's a neat fusion of combat and investigation. Beyond physical trophies, there are also environmental challenges, where you have to solve riddles by locating a specific item or location within the city. Successfully solving these rewards you with little stories related to the answer, deepening the lore and making you feel even more connected to Gotham.
Okay.
You'll also need to locate these question marks painted around the city, some of which are only visible in their entirety from certain vantage points, forcing careful observation and rewarding your keen eye.
And the Riddler raises the stakes significantly, doesn't he? The ultimate challenges involve innocent lives. After completing a select number of challenges, Batman has to engage in these tense hostage rescues, saving civilians held in one of the Riddler's elaborate death traps. It ties his eccentric puzzles directly into Batman's core mission of saving lives, really raising the moral stakes.
Yeah, it makes stopping him feel much more urgent than just collecting trophies.
And for those who truly crave more punishment, completing the story mode on normal or hard difficulties unlocks a new Game Plus mode. This lets you replay the entire game with all your previously attained gadgets, experience, and abilities. However, the game escalates the challenge. Enemies are tougher, and that crucial on-screen icon warning you about imminent attacks, it's disabled.
Oof.
Yeah, it demands true mastery of the combat system. No more hand-holding for the Dark Knight.
And beyond the main narrative, Arkham City features a series of challenge maps, separate from the story mode. These maps focus on specific goals, like eliminating successive waves of enemies in combat, subduing patrolling enemies purely through stealth, or traveling to a specific location as efficiently as possible. Your performance earns an overall score, which is then ranked online against other players, fostering a competitive spirit among the community.
So plenty to keep players busy long after the credits roll. Now let's talk about the absolute heart of Arkham City. Its narrative spine, a dark and twisting tale, starting with its iconic cast, reunited and expanded.
The game benefits immensely from its stellar voice cast. Kevin Conroy, of course, returns as the definitive voice of Batman, bringing that unparalleled gravitas and weariness to the character.
Absolutely iconic.
And Mark Hamill, after some initial reluctance, apparently he wanted to leave the Joker role on a high note, he relented upon learning that Paul Dini, the veteran Batman writer, and Conroy were involved.
Thank goodness he did.
Right. And securing Conroy and Hamill wasn't just about nostalgia. It grounded Arkham City's darker, more personal narrative in this visceral, familiar tension that few other licensed games could ever hope to achieve. It truly elevated the story through their unparalleled performances. And Tara Strong also took over as Harley Quinn, replacing Arlene Sorkin, and she later reprised the role in the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC.
It's hard to imagine Batman without Conroy, or Joker without Hamill, really. Beyond the main trio, many beloved characters from Arkham Asylum make their return, deepening that sense of continuity and consequence. This includes the now Mayor Quincy Sharp, Commissioner James Gordon, the intrepid reporter Jack Ryder, and villains like the Riddler, Victor Zsasz, Bane, and Poison Ivy. And of course, Batman's crucial allies, Alfred Pennyworth and Oracle, providing invaluable radio support, always in his ear, offering guidance and exposition.
And this game significantly expanded the roster, introducing a host of new characters central to the plot. You have Hugo Strange, the manipulative warden of Arkham City, voiced by Corey Burton. He's a new primary antagonist, and his knowledge of Batman's true identity makes him uniquely threatening.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
We also see Two-Face, voiced by Troy Baker, adding another layer of criminal complexity, and a really gritty, reimagined portrayal of the Penguin, voiced by the great Nolan North.
And then there's Stana Katic, lending her voice as Talia al Ghul, a crucial character and former lover of Batman, with deep ties to the League of Assassins. Maurice LaMarche voices the tragic Mr. Freeze, whose story intertwines deeply with Batman's quest for a cure.
Other characters making their Arkham series debut include the monstrous Solomon Grundy, the shapeshifter Clayface, the formidable Ra's al Ghul, the mind-controlling Mad Hatter, and the deadly assassin Deadshot, who's infiltrated Arkham City with a hit list. The mysterious Hush, Azrael, reporter Vicky Vale, they also make appearances. It's truly a who's who of Gotham's most iconic figures, creating this rich tapestry of interactions.
And it wasn't just Batman you could play as. Catwoman becomes another playable character, right? Initially as DLC, but later integrated into the main game.
Exactly. Voiced by Gray Delisle, her campaign features this cool, heist-focused storyline that beautifully intersects with the main plot. It offers a distinctly different combat style, emphasizing agility and her unique gadgets, like her whip. Batman's allies Robin, specifically Tim Drake and Nightwing Dick Grayson, are also playable via optional DLC, bringing their own unique combat abilities and gadgets to the challenge maps. Robin even gets his own main story narrative within his DLC content.
So Rocksteady specifically intended for Batman, Catwoman, and Robin to offer 3 distinct playing experiences to maximize replayability and showcase varied approaches.
That was the goal, yeah. And the decision to include so many villains, even in smaller roles, wasn't just for fan service, was it?
Doesn't seem like it.
Not at all. The developers chose to include many villains to effectively convey the feeling of being in a super prison truly filled with this melting pot of Gotham's most dangerous criminals. Providing smaller, focused parts of each villain's story, rather than just focusing on a select few big bads, allowed for a broader character tapestry and truly emphasized the scale and pervasive nature of the threat within Arkham City. It made the city feel dense and alive with danger everywhere you turned.
Okay, now let's dive into the sinister plot of Arkham City itself, particularly the chilling Protocol 10. The plot kicks off dramatically, doesn't it? At a press conference held by Bruce Wayne, where he publicly declares his opposition to the Arkham City project. And in a shocking turn, Tiger mercenaries arrest and imprison him within the very city he spoke against.
What's particularly impactful is what happens immediately next. Hugo Strange confronts Wayne and just chillingly discloses his knowledge of Wayne's dual identity as Batman.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. This reveal puts Batman in a uniquely vulnerable position right from the outset. Strange then releases him into the general criminal populace of the prison, knowing he'll have no choice but to become Batman to survive and figure out Strange's true plans.
And he does. Wayne gets his equipment via an airdrop from Alfred Pennyworth, allowing him to don the cowl. His immediate priority then is to save Catwoman, who's on the verge of being executed by Two-Face, who's aiming to gain respect by murdering her. So right from the start, the stakes are incredibly high and personal.
Absolutely. After the Joker attempts to assassinate Catwoman, Batman tracks him to his hideout in the Sionis steel mill, believing Joker might hold the key to understanding Protocol 10. There, Batman discovers the shocking truth. The unstable Titan formula is mutating in Joker's blood, slowly killing him.
Oh, wow.
And in a truly cool twist, Joker captures Batman and performs a forced blood transfusion, infecting him with the same fatal disease. Joker also reveals that Gotham hospitals have been poisoned with his infected blood, escalating the crisis far, far beyond Arkham City's walls.
So it's not just a personal fight for Batman anymore. It's this desperate race against time to save the entire city and himself. Desperate to find a cure for both himself and the innocent citizens of Gotham, Batman seeks out Mr. Freeze. Freeze has been developing an antidote but has since been kidnapped by the Penguin.
Right.
So Batman tracks Penguin to his fortified museum, battles through his forces, defeats the monster Solomon Grundy, who's locked in the basement, and ultimately subdues Penguin before liberating Mr. Freeze.
Freeze then informs Batman that he has created a cure, but it suffers from instability.
Yeah.
Batman, using his formidable detective skills, deduces that the therapeutic properties of Ra's al Ghul's blood can stabilize and complete the cure. This leads him to track one of Raz's assassins to his underground lair, resulting in a dramatic confrontation with Raz himself and his daughter, Talia, Batman's former lover, revealing even deeper, more complicated connections.
The pieces are all falling into place for this grand, sinister design. With Ra's al Ghul's blood, Freeze successfully develops a complete antidote. However, before Batman can use it, Harley Quinn swoops in and steals the vial, leading Batman back into the heart of the Joker's twisted territory. It's this relentless chase that just keeps the pressure on.
Upon returning to the Joker, Batman finds him miraculously restored to health. But during a chaotic confrontation, Strange activates Protocol 10, and its true nature is horrifying. It's a scheme to wipe out the entire population of Arkham City and, by extension, eliminate the criminal element of Gotham in one fell swoop.
Jeez.
Tiger troops immediately begin executing inmates, and Strange launches devastating missile strikes from his base in Wonder Tower. A missile even hits the steel mill, burying Batman under rubble.
That's a truly chilling reveal, the sheer scale of that plan. Before the seemingly healthy Joker can capitalize on Batman's predicament, Talia arrives, offering Joker immortality in exchange for sparing Batman's life. After escaping with Catwoman's help, Batman is convinced by Alfred to prioritize stopping Protocol 10 before pursuing Talia and Joker.
Right. Gotta stop the citywide execution first.
Yeah.
Batman infiltrates Wonder Tower and successfully disables Protocol 10. But here's where the narrative truly twists again. Ra's al Ghul is exposed as the true mastermind behind Arkham City all along.
Whoa.
Yeah, and he mortally wounds Strange for his failure to defeat Batman. With his dying breath, Strange activates Protocol 11, triggering the self-destruction of Wonder Tower. Ra's al Ghul then commits suicide to avoid capture, proving the fanatical lengths he'll go to protect his secrets and achieve his goals.
So, Protocol 10 is stopped, but the game is far from over, leading us to one of the most controversial, talked-about climaxes in superhero gaming history. The Joker's final bow. Following the chaos, the Joker contacts Batman, threatening to kill Talia unless Batman meets him at the Monarch Theater. When Batman arrives, Joker, seemingly cured and revitalized, demands the antidote. And in a shocking moment, Talia impales him, seemingly killing him while he's distracted.
But the twists don't stop there, revealing this masterclass in misdirection. Talia then admits she stole the antidote from Harley Quinn to save Batman. But then, a second Joker, the one still afflicted with the disease, appears and kills Talia.
What?
Yeah. The healthy Joker, the one Talia just impaled, then reanimates into the shape-shifting Clayface. This reveals the elaborate deception. Clayface had been masquerading as a healthy Joker all along at the real ailing villain's request. It's a truly brilliant narrative bombshell that I think very few players saw coming.
It certainly was. During Batman's climactic battle with Clayface, Joker blows up the theater floor, revealing the secret location of Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus Pit below. After defeating Clayface, Batman drinks a portion of the antidote himself. And in the decisive act, he then destroys the rejuvenating Lazarus Pit before the true Joker can use it for endless rebirth, cutting off a key element of the Batman mythos, seemingly for good within this universe.
And then comes the truly poignant, character-defining moment. As Batman debates whether to cure his foe, the Joker attacks him, inadvertently causing the remaining antidote vial to smash on the ground.
Yeah.
In that moment, Batman admits that despite everything, he would have saved Joker.
Wow.
Joker finally succumbs to his illness and dies. Batman then performs this unprecedented act.
Right.
He carries the Joker's lifeless body out and places it on the hood of Commissioner Gordon's car before silently leaving Arkham City. Such a powerful, almost tragic image, signifying the end of an era for Batman.
That ending was incredibly bold, and apparently Rocksteady decided early on that the Joker would die. They developed the idea of him poisoning Batman specifically to force these two diametrically opposed characters to interact in pursuit of a shared goal. And crucially, Warner Bros. And Paul Dini didn't oppose killing off the character, provided it wasn't just done for shock value, and this was important, that it was made clear Batman was not at fault for his death, as he would never intentionally kill someone. This narrative choice cemented the game's dark, mature tone and left an unforgettable mark on the Batman saga.
Yeah, it was a really powerful conclusion.
So from that dark narrative, let's now transition to the genius behind the scenes, the design and marketing of Arkham City. We'll start with the design innovations and philosophy that made this game tick.
Right. So in line with that Batman and Gotham design philosophy, Batman's arsenal of moves and actions were significantly expanded. While the team brainstormed loads of new ideas, they only implemented those that felt truly authentic to Batman's character and abilities. And the sheer scale of this expansion is evident in the fact that the number of animations in the game was doubled compared to Arkham Asylum.
Doubled.
Yeah, reflecting the larger and more versatile arsenal of moves at your disposal, which allowed for this unprecedented player agency.
And that thoughtful design choice we mentioned earlier, having Batman start with access to all the gadgets from Arkham Asylum. It wasn't just convenience. It was intended to convey that Batman, ever prepared, is fully equipped for the chaos ahead. It immediately put you in the shoes of a seasoned Dark Knight.
Rocksteady meticulously reviewed the play and combat systems from Arkham Asylum. Instead of fundamentally altering them, they built new moves and mechanics as natural extensions of the existing system. They aimed to add even more depth in gameplay. This iterative approach is why the Freeflow combat feels so incredibly refined and fluid, rather than feeling like a completely different system bolted on.
And we touched on it earlier, but it's worth highlighting the design philosophy behind the redesigned Detective Vision again. The X-ray mode from Asylum was just too useful, right? Leading players to rely on it almost exclusively, which obscured the game's beautiful design.
Yeah, totally.
Rocksteady sought to rebalance it without adding artificial constraints like a time limit, which they felt Batman wouldn't design for himself. Instead, they made it that augmented reality mode that could be difficult to use in certain situations, like obscuring navigation or blurring the screen during combat. It forced players to use it more strategically and actually appreciate the game's detailed environments, a subtle but powerful design choice.
And the larger game world itself was a huge undertaking. Arkham City boasts a virtual footprint 5 times larger than Arkham Asylum. The navigational aspects were heavily improved to offer you the freedom and exhilaration of gliding down alleyways and soaring above the skyline, truly embodying the Dark Knight's iconic movement and making the city itself a character that you actively traverse and interact with.
But despite that expansive open-world feel, the director Sefton Hill emphasized that a completely free-form nature wouldn't be appropriate for a Batman game, as it would inhibit the specific atmosphere they wanted. Arkham City was designed to challenge you to think like Batman to survive. So, to counterbalance the larger environment, the developers included more challenges and side missions while constantly keeping you aware of the primary objective. It ensured you always felt the extreme pressure of the challenges. It's open, but it's still Batman's tightly curated, dangerous world.
And the sheer number of Riddler trophies 440 speaks again to the scale of the optional content. These were designed late in development and carefully incorporated into every area without overpopulating the map. Rocksteady's goal was to make collecting them require creative thinking and gadget use to solve puzzles, moving beyond just simple collection items placed in obscure corners. That shows an incredible dedication to making side content feel meaningful, not just filler.
And the open world allowed for the inclusion of many more villains, each creating unique challenges for Batman. Hugo Strange was a natural choice as the primary antagonist because of his power and controlling nature, which was crucial for maintaining the Arkham City lockdown premise. And his awareness of Batman's secret identity made Batman uniquely vulnerable and exposed throughout the entire game.
Catwoman was included due to her long, complex history with Batman. Importantly, she was given her own agenda, running parallel to the main events, offering a fresh perspective on the city's chaos. And a fascinating detail is a late-stage development decision that allowed for that morally gray choice at the end of her missions, letting players decide if she aids Batman or just leaves with her loot. Apparently, this significant narrative decision was implemented in just 2 days.
Wow, talk about crunch time. Speaking of character design, Batman's sidekick, Robin, specifically Tim Drake, received a contemporary costume design and a shaved head, deliberately moving away from his traditional boy wonder image.
Yeah, that was a different look.
Senior concept artist Can Muftick explained this vision. A troubled young individual that is calm and introverted at times, but very dangerous and aggressive if provoked. The shaved head is inspired by cage fighters. Still, we kept all the classic trademarks. Apparently, Rocksteady initially didn't plan to include Robin in the main story, but eventually did to authentically deliver new gadgets to Batman and introduce their version of his character and relationship with Batman.
This raises an important question that many developers face: multiplayer. A key decision for Arkham City was to not include a multiplayer element. Hill articulated the reasoning quite clearly. If we use all of the energy that is required to create multiplayer and instead focus this on the single player, would that deliver a better overall game?
And the answer seems to be yes.
Yeah, that singular focus on the robust single-player experience is often cited as a major reason for its exceptional quality.
And you can feel that singular focus in the game's immersive atmosphere. To enhance variety and immersion, different areas of Arkham City were designed around the villains who controlled them. Marketing game manager Dax Jin noted that entering Joker's territory meant a very Jokerized experience, with graffiti and signage reflecting his chaotic influence. This meticulous art direction created physical and emotional transitions between turf zones, making the city itself feel like a living, breathing character.
The artistic influences were also quite diverse. The architecture blended 19th century Art Nouveau design like Strange's Wonder Tower, which was inspired by the Eiffel Tower, with a modern hyperrealism style for the characters. Contrasting elements, for instance, large white clown faces against the orange and red of the steel mill kept environments visually dynamic. And to achieve this expanded environment, Rocksteady significantly grew its workforce, from about 75 to over 100 people.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, and this expansion, combined with an intense 8-month crunch period, often working until 11 or 12 each night, apparently, it really speaks to the immense effort behind the game's creation.
That's a testament to their dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's shift gears to the music and the truly ambitious marketing impact this game had.
Right, the music. The game's release was accompanied by not one, but 2 music albums from Water Tower Music.
Yeah.
You had Batman, Arkham City original video game score, featuring 19 tracks composed for the game by the Arkham Asylum composers, Nick Arundel and Ron Fish, creating that signature atmospheric sound. But additionally, there was Batman, Arkham City the album, which contained 11 original songs inspired by the game from mainstream artists like Daughtry, Panic at the Disco, and Coheed and Cambria. That really showcased its broad cultural appeal beyond just the gaming sphere.
An original album by mainstream artists, that's a powerful statement about its cultural reach. And Warner Bros. Invested heavily, right? With a marketing campaign that spanned over a year in development and was estimated to cost at least $10 million.
It's million.
Yeah. Its goal was incredibly ambitious, to reach beyond the core superhero fan base and appeal to consumers attracted to popular first-person shooter series like Call of Duty. They wanted to expand their market significantly.
And the marketing team recognized Batman's undeniable status as a cultural icon, but chose to emphasize other elements of the character to attract that broader audience. They drew inspiration from black and white photographs of iconic personalities like Steve Jobs and James Dean, using imagery highlighted with blood and bathed in light. This deliberate choice aimed to move away from the classic superhero image and refocus on Batman's raw, vulnerable humanity. It was a pretty nuanced approach for a big-budget game.
It was a massive reach, too. That black and white campaign was incredibly pervasive, featured on 120 magazine covers, targeting approximately 15 million consumers across various social media and Warner Bros. Products. A series of viral marketing videos and stunts, including actors in costume attending press events, further amplified its presence. By April 2012, just 3 gameplay trailers alone had garnered around 6 million views. That indicates massive pre-release buzz.
A particularly clever viral segment involved a series of audio recordings between key game characters like Hugo Strange, Quincy Sharp, Riddler, and Penguin. Each recording could only be found by solving a specific puzzle online, engaging the audience directly, and building anticipation in a really interactive way. It made fans feel like detectives themselves.
That's cool. And the cross-media synergy was impressive, too. The marketing extended into other media. There was a 6-issue limited monthly comic series, also titled Batman Arkham City, and written by Paul Dini, which bridged the plot between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, providing deeper lore for fans who wanted to explore every corner of the universe. Warner Bros. Also developed a wide range of merchandise. Toys through Mattel, Hallmark cards, Batarang shaped video game controllers, various apparel lines with major brands. They went all out.
And to generate even more buzz, Toys R Us in Times Square, New York City, released 500 copies of the game one day early. The first 100 customers who pre-ordered through the store's special personal shopping department even had the chance to get their game autographed by industry luminaries like DC co-publisher Jim Lee, Kevin Conroy himself, and game director Sefton Hill. That kind of unique event truly captured the excitement around the launch and made it a special experience for fans.
Absolutely. Okay, finally, let's wrap up our deep dive with the game's release, its incredible reach, and its enduring legacy. We'll start with the multi-platform rollout and the diverse editions that were available.
All right, Batman. Arkham City saw a staggered global release. It initially launched in North America on October 18, 2011 for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, followed shortly by Australia and Europe. The Microsoft Windows version was delayed by about a month, releasing in November. Then you had subsequent releases for Wii U and OS X in 2012, remastered versions for PS4 and Xbox One in 2016, and even a Nintendo Switch version as recently as 2023. It truly had a long tail across many platforms, reaching a vast audience over more than a decade.
The Catwoman DLC created a brief stir at launch, didn't it? Due to initial restrictions tied to new game purchases, which sparked some industry debate about used game sales. Fortunately, Warner Bros. Quickly course-corrected, ensuring the content was accessible to all players, either through used copies or separate purchase. The PC version, interestingly, included this DLC from the start without needing extra downloads. That swift response probably helped mitigate potential backlash.
Yeah, that was handled reasonably well in the end. Warner Bros. Also heavily incentivized pre-orders through partnerships with various retailers globally, a strategy that clearly paid off. These bonuses included a variety of alternate outfits for Batman, featuring iconic designs from The Dark Knight Returns, Batman, Earth 1, the Bronze Age comics, Batman, the animated series, and even Batman Beyond.
So many great looks.
Yeah. A PlayStation 3 exclusive Sinestro Core outfit was also offered via a Blu-ray purchase of the Green Lantern film, which was a unique cross-promotion engaging fans of both franchises.
And they really packed in the playable characters as pre-order incentives, too. Batman's sidekick, Robin, Tim Drake, was made available as a playable character for challenge maps, complete with his own combat moves, gadgets, and additional skins. Exclusive challenge maps like Black Mask Hideout and Freight Train Escape, as well as Joker's Carnival, were also offered. Crucially, all this pre-order content was confirmed to be early access and would eventually be made available for download after the game's release. That's a consumer-friendly move that built goodwill. And this strategy worked. Pre-orders for Arkham City were more than 200% higher than those for Arkham Asylum. That's a massive jump in anticipation.
Wow, 200%. Beyond standard releases, numerous special editions were offered too. There was a Robin edition, exclusively in the UK, containing all the Robin pre-order content. Various Steelbook edition versions featured metallic cases with villain likenesses, Joker, Two-Face, Penguin, Catwoman, and often bundled additional challenge maps or alternate Batman skins. And then the big one, the Collector's Edition.
What was in that?
It was a robust package, including a Batman statue by Kotobukiya, a collectible art book, The Batman, Arkham City, the album, the animated film Batman, Gotham Knight, the Dark Knight Returns skin, and the Iceberg Lounge challenge map. Truly a premium offering for dedicated fans.
For the PC version, it initially used games for Windows Live, or GFWL, Microsoft's often troubled PC gaming platform, for online services. This led to some confusion and later issues with its removal, specifically impacting game activation and save files for some players. A technical headache for some.
Yeah, GFWL was always a bit tricky.
And for console fans, a Batman-themed Xbox 360 console bundle was also released, pairing the game with other Batman media and a special console, leveraging the game's immense popularity.
And then, the ultimate package. A Game of the Year edition was announced in April 2012, which included the game and all previously released downloadable content. It also offered a free download of the animated movie Batman, Year One in some regions. A surprising little detail here is that the cover art for this edition was widely criticized for being cluttered with review scores and quotations, leading some critics to deem it among the worst ever.
Really, an odd misstep for such a critically acclaimed game.
Yeah, just visually very busy.
Let's talk more about that downloadable content because it truly expanded the experience. While initially controversial as a new purchase unlock, the Catwoman DLC proved to be a substantial addition. It featured a whole series of missions for Catwoman, complete with her unique weapons-clawed gauntlets, bolas, whipping moves, offering a distinctly different gameplay style. It also included 2 alternate skins for her, making it a pretty robust offering.
Additional DLC packs were later released too. The Nightwing pack introduced Batman's ally Nightwing as a playable character for challenge maps, along with an animated series skin and 2 new challenge maps, Wayne Manor and Main Hall. The Robin pack compiled the Robin pre-order content for broader availability, and the Skins pack collected all the alternate Batman pre-order skins so everyone could eventually access them if they missed the pre-orders.
Additional challenge maps were released too, bringing the Iceberg Lounge and Joker's Carnival pre-order challenge maps to all players, plus a brand new map, the Batcave. And as a nice gesture of appreciation, a new Batman skin based on his outfit from the Batman Incorporated comics was released for free on all platforms in December 2011.
An interesting tangential release was an official map app available for iOS devices back in October 2011. It provided in-game maps, collectible locations, and even solutions to the Riddler's riddles. This demonstrated Warner Bros.' commitment to supplementary content and making the game even more accessible for completionists who wanted to find every single secret.
But the standout DLC was truly Harley Quinn's Revenge, wasn't it? This story-based campaign expansion, released in May 2012, takes place 2 weeks after the intense events of the main Arkham City story. The mega prison has been evacuated, but Harley Quinn returns to set up shop in Joker's former base at the Steel Mill.
Right.
The campaign allows you to play as both Batman and Robin, as Robin searches for a missing Batman who's apparently been acting differently since the main game's conclusion. This DLC added new areas and enemies, providing a satisfying epilogue that tied up some loose ends and explored the psychological fallout of the main story's climax. And it was notably included as part of the Arkham City Game of the Year edition.
Now let's look at the culmination of all this effort. The critical acclaim, commercial success, and enduring impact of Arkham City.
Batman. Arkham City received near universal critical acclaim. I mean, the aggregate scores on Metacritic reflect that. A staggering 96 out of 100 for PlayStation 3, 94 for Xbox 360, and 91 for PC. It was tied with The Elder Scrolls v. Skyrim as the highest-rated video game of 2011. That's a monumental achievement and a really packed year for gaming.
Reviewers consistently lauded its narrative, the depth of its characters, the meticulous world design, the immersive soundtrack, and of course Batman's refined combat and navigation abilities. It was hailed as the best licensed video game ever made and one of the greatest moments for Batman in any medium. The sheer breadth of Arkham City's accolades, spanning narrative, gameplay, even individual performances. It wasn't just about winning awards, it cemented the game's status as this holistic masterpiece. It proved that licensed titles could absolutely stand toe-to-toe with the biggest original IPs in the industry.
Despite the overwhelmingly positive reception, some critics did note a slight lack of the surprise factor compared to its predecessor, Arkham Asylum. There were observations that maybe some villains felt a bit like one-dimensional punching bags in the narrative, while others found some character dialogue occasionally cliché. The Riddler challenges, while vast, could be frustrating if players lacked the necessary gadgets. And the Catwoman campaign, while delightful, was lamented by some for its relatively short length. No game is perfect, after all.
True. The Armored Edition for Wii U also received positive reception, particularly for its innovative use of the Wii U's touchscreen controller for managing equipment, viewing maps, and interacting with the world. New additions like the Sonar mode and the Battle Armored Tech mode, or BA mode, added fresh gameplay elements. However, technical performance, including issues with visual quality and inconsistent frame rate, along with some potentially tacked-on gimmicks or glitches, led some to label it the clearly inferior version, despite its unique control scheme.
And the Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC, generally praised, with IGN calling it what downloadable content should be. However, some criticisms arose regarding a perceived lack of mission variety, some inconclusive plot threads, and the feeling that it might have been composed of unused material from the main game.
Commercially, though, Arkham City was an absolute juggernaut. It became one of the fastest-selling games in history at the time. It sold 2 million units worldwide in its first week alone, from approximately 4.6 million shipped. That's a stark contrast to Arkham Asylum's 4.3 million units sold across its entire release lifetime.
Wow, huge difference.
Yeah. By February 2012, over 6 million units had been shipped. In the UK, it became the #1 selling game across all formats in its first week, doubling Arkham Asylum's launch sales and becoming Warner Bros.' biggest UK game launch ever at that point.
In the US, it was the second best-selling game in October 2011 and the most requested game of 2011 on GameFly, even surpassing that year's Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3. Overall, it generated over $600 million in revenue. That's a serious impact for any title, let alone a licensed game based on a comic book character.
And that commercial and critical success translated into a deluge of awards. The game was a powerhouse during awards season, winning multiple accolades including Character of the Year for Joker, Best Xbox 360 Game, Best Action-Adventure Game, and Best Adapted Video Game at the Spike Video Game Awards, where Mark Hamill also won for Performer.
Deservedly so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It also took home Adventure Game of the Year at the AIAS 15th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards and 2 BAFTA Awards for Performer, again for Hamill, and Action Game. It consistently appeared on and topped Best Games of 2011 lists everywhere, a true testament to its multifaceted excellence.
By 2012, Time magazine named it one of the 100 greatest video games of all time, stating, quote, "It's hard to imagine a better superhero game than Batman, Arkham City. It's also hard to imagine a better video game in general." Entertainment Weekly called it the definitive superhero adventure of the decade. By 2013, Game Informer named it the best superhero game of all time, and it continued to be ranked highly on greatest games ever made lists through 2019 and beyond, solidifying its status as a true masterpiece.
Which brings us to the continuing Arkham legacy. The direct successor to Arkham City was announced in April 2013. Batman, Arkham Origins. Now, this was developed by WB Games Montreal, not Rocksteady, and served as a prequel set several years before Arkham Asylum. It followed a younger, less experienced Batman on Christmas Eve as he faced off against 8 deadly assassins in Gotham City. A separate mobile title, Batman, Arkham Origins Blackgate, was released on the same day.
And then Rocksteady Studios returned to the helm for the narrative sequel, Arkham Knight, announced in March 2014 and released in June 2015. This game picked up 9 months after the events of Arkham City, with Batman confronting a major assault on Gotham City by the Scarecrow and a brand new villain, the mysterious Arkham Knight.
A notable detail for fans of the series writing is that veteran Batman writer Paul Dini, who penned Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, was not involved in writing for Arkham Origins or any of Arkham City's later DLC, including Harley Quinn's Revenge. He mentioned that Warner Bros. And Rocksteady suggested he take work elsewhere if offered, indicating a shift in the writing team for future installments.
Interesting. The Arkham legacy has continued through multiple re-releases too. Batman. Return to Arkham in 2016 was a compilation featuring remastered versions of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Developed by Virtuos, these versions utilized Unreal Engine 4 and featured improved graphics, models, environments, lighting, effects, and shaders, along with all the previously released DLC, allowing a new generation of players to experience them on modern hardware.
And then most recently, The Batman. Arkham Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch in 2023, which included ports of Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Batman. Arkham Knight. Interestingly, the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City versions in this collection were based on the original Unreal Engine 3 releases, not the Return to Arkham remasters. This ensures the original artistic vision remains accessible on newer platforms, allowing even more people to experience these classic games as they were originally intended.
So you've just journeyed with us through the intricate depths of Batman, Arkham City, a game that didn't just meet expectations but absolutely soared above them. It solidified its place not only as a titan in the gaming world, but as a definitive entry in the enduring legacy of the Caped Crusader. From its innovative combat and expansive open-world design to its star-studded voice cast and a narrative that truly pushed boundaries, Arkham City stands as a testament to what a licensed game can achieve when passion meets precision.
It truly left an indelible mark on the industry and the character, didn't it? Setting a new bar for superhero stories in interactive media.
It really did. So what does this all mean for the Caped Crusader? Thinking about the game's bold and character-defining ending, particularly Batman's final complex decision not to actively save the Joker, and the Clown Prince of Crime's ultimate poignant demise there in Batman's arms, what does this pivotal moment suggest about the true nature of their eternal struggle? Does it offer a definitive, albeit dark, resolution to their intertwined destinies? Or does it merely signify a new, perhaps even more profound, chapter in Batman's relentless, solitary war on crime? It makes you wonder, doesn't it, what it truly means for Batman to be Batman when his greatest foe is finally gone.